Luke, how you doing today?
All right. I'm good. I'm good. Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you as well. Thank you for joining me today.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're here talking about Relax, I'm from the Future. I had an opportunity to watch this film. I had a blast with it. It's so fun.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So the film follows Casper, who is probably one of the worst time travelers I've ever seen. He's just really bad at his job. And
Yep.
Rhys Darby plays Casper. What else can you tell us about this film without giving too much away?
Yeah, no, as you said, that was sort of the central idea that attracted me. I liked the idea of a time traveler who didn't have a plan, who didn't know what he was doing. That was just an inherently funny idea to me. And then it also sort of very much became a way for me to sort of like explore the weird anxieties and existential crises I was having about the future and sort of mash those things together and sort of create something fun out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He seemed to have like a weird relationship with the future. In some cases, he's like, no, it's gonna be fine. That you're good. And in other cases, he like talks about something that's happening, and it sounds so chaotic coming from him. So
Hmm.
I quite enjoyed that take on what potentially happens in the future.
I mean, it's sort of the same as now, right? Like if you can live a certain type of life now and be like, everything's fine. It's kind of boring. And then you can also be someone, a few blocks away and have the most insane, chaotic, difficult life possible. So
That's yeah, it's
it's
very true. That's very true. Yeah.
yeah.
When it comes to Rhys Darby as an actor, as a comedian, he has a very particular style. From the
Hmm.
inception of this film into a feature, because it started off as a short film. What was the process
Yeah.
like working with him and the writing process?
Yeah, well, yeah. Rhys was not involved in the short film, so he came
Yeah,
on much later. But it was an incredible honor to be able to work with him. Like it's we the role of Casper in the 2013 short film I made was played by a friend of mine who actually plays Chuck in the new film.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna put him in every film I ever make. But Rhys was such a great get because built into the character has to have an energy to him, has to be charismatic, has to be likable, even as he's doing these things that are sort of either stupid or morally questionable. You have to sort of be there with him and wanting to spend time with him and sort of on his side while he's doing them. And sort of as soon as his name came up as a possibility, it was just an immediate lightning bolt of like, yes, yes, that's perfect.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm still so grateful that he did it, that he agreed to do it. It was
Yeah.
a huge honor. Yeah.
Yeah, I one aspect of the film that I really enjoyed was the way you told the story through multiple panels. And
Mm.
not many people use this style, but I love it. I think it's great. It obviously reminds me of like a comic book.
Yeah.
What was your take on going in this direction?
Yeah, that was very much by design. I've been a comic book reader all my life. I'm very sort of inspired by that stylistically. The split screens, the boxes. You're exactly right. The character design also. I sort of very much was thinking about comic book characters sort of having iconic costumes and silhouettes when I was coming up with the character designs with my costume designers and production designers. Yeah, it's very much just sort of built into how I see the world and how I tell stories. Also, it sort of ties into this idea of Casper, of a time traveler being this sort of retro fetishist, being someone who is sort of obsessed with old things. So, like, that is also the look of the film is sort of designed to look a little like newsprint, a little like old grainy film, a little like comic, but like all of that is sort of in a pot.
Exactly. Yeah.
VHS is also an element. Like sort of all of those things are like in the stew of like sort of tying uh, the ways that we fetishize the past, and certainly I fetishize the past with sort of the way a time traveler might with our time. So yeah, all of that is very much part of the film.
No, that's great. This film has been making its way through festivals for the most of the year, and now it's going to be released in theaters. And you had a
Hmm.
premiere for it, screening just, I believe it was last week in Toronto.
Yeah. It played. We had a premiere in Toronto last week with the cast, and also it opened in the States last week. So it's been playing in the States, and it's about to play in Canada this week. So yeah,
What has
very
the
exciting
journey
times.
been like? The journey from festivals to premiere. What has that felt like?
Um, Great. We premiered at Fantasia Film Festival, which is one of the best festivals in the world. That was a really special experience. I will say we played at several genre festivals and several non-genre festivals, and like genre festivals all the way. Like it's the people that come out to those, your sci-fi fans, your horror fans, your comedy fans, like the best audiences. Like
Absolutely.
absolutely, that is it's so much fun. I will never forget the experience of watching the premiere at Fantasia with a full crowd of people sort of reacting with sort of shock and delight at certain moments in the movie. That's something I'm going to carry with me the rest of my life. It was really really cool. But yeah, I enjoyed the whole festival run, and it's very exciting for a movie of our size to be able to get a real proper theatrical run. So I'm very grateful for that. I think it's really exciting, and it's I think it's important to support small movies in the theater because
Absolutely.
it's
Absolutely.
it's important. Cinema matters.
I really enjoyed your take on time travel in the movie and how the movie. Well, I mean, time travel has been around for a long time in
Hmm.
popular culture, and so a lot of audience will just oh, he's a time traveler. I kind of already have an underlying understanding of the process. So I appreciate that
Hmm.
you didn't need to go into detail or go into like all the science elements of it. And
Yeah,
when writing all of that, what did you pick and choose in terms of like curating your own version of time travel?
for sure. Yeah. I mean, I like you say, I definitely sort of played with the fact that everyone watching this movie has seen a version of a time travel movie before. Like, I think that's a pretty safe bet, and that like you can use that familiarity to your advantage, especially in a comedy. Like that's sort of so. I definitely I knew I wasn't going to make. I love sort of hard science sci-fi movies. I enjoy those, but I knew that wasn't what I was making here. So I was making something that was going to have fun with the idea. And it's important to me to have an internal logic consistency, but like it's the most important thing is to have fun. And I liked the idea of doing something that was sort of both thematically appropriate and funny with the sort of the timeline concept in my movie, and so the sort of the mushy blob idea. Uh, what I liked about it is that it is sort of simultaneously sort of funny and silly, and allows you to sort of have some leeway with playing around with stuff. But it's also a sort of a metaphor for the difficulty in making any kind of real change in the world, and that's something that a lot of the characters are sort of very obsessed with and thinking about, because it's something that I think about a lot. And I liked the idea of time itself being a thing that just like congeals over any attempts to change it, and
Yeah,
that to me was sort of a an idea that was both resonant and funny. So that's sort of how I landed on that.
I like that. I really like that. I actually didn't think about that, but now thinking about each character's motives and their individual stories, that completely makes sense. And I love that. That's
Thank
great
you.
in terms of like how each character they have their own individual journey, but and they're trying to do certain things. I don't want to give anything away. They're trying to do things in their own direction, but they know that
Yeah.
individually they can't really solve anything or do anything different. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So this the film we mentioned that it started off as a short film, and
Hmm.
obviously when you're starting at a short film and you're moving to a feature, there's all kinds of behind the scenes productions, new cast, longer script, all of that. What are some of
Hmm.
the difficulties that you either encountered or things that you really enjoyed about changing it from short to feature?
Yeah. Yeah. It was. it was definitely difficult, but it was also a quite a rewarding thing. It took me a while. It took me a while to figure out what it was going to be, what it was going to look like. There was definitely a version of the film that was sort of took place over one night and was basically just Casper and Holly talking the whole time. And it wasn't very good. And so I put it in a drawer for a while, and then I picked it back up later, and I had new ideas. And yeah, it was a very organic, pretty long process of sort of finding what the script wanted to be. And then when it did, it just sort of all came together pretty well. And yeah, I mean, the I can't say enough about my producers at Wango Films. They are the ones who believed in the script, and I had edited movies for them before. I do a lot of work as an editor, and I sort of tossed them a script of mine while I was editing one of their other movies, and fully expecting to never hear from it
Yeah.
again. But they believed in it, and they got the script in people's hands, and were able to, enough people liked it that we could sort of scrape together a budget, and that was something that I'm still just blown over about. It's
Yeah.
really exciting. Yeah,
Just slide it across the desk one day. Say, here, take a look at
exactly.
this.
Hey, oh, what's this? Oh, hey, yeah, yeah.
Oh, this came in the mail. I was reading it yesterday. It's amazing. Check it
This
out.
is really good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Totally.
That's amazing. Uh, I read online that you are planning to expand this into a television show of some sort. Is
Mm.
there anything you can say about it in terms of like how you see it developing?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's yeah, very early stages. We're still sort of talking to people, shopping it around and stuff. But it's I'm very proud of it. I think the pilot script is very funny, and it's sort of a half-hour comedy. It's not a sequel to the movie, but it's sort of there's a version of Casper and a version of Holly. Like it is sort of a reimagining of the same concept,
Okay.
kind of. And I would say one of the big differences is that it takes place over two timelines simultaneously. So we go back and forth between our present with Casper in it and the future that Casper comes from. And we sort of have those timelines playing out simultaneously. And I think we do some fun stuff with that. So yeah, I really hope we get to make it, because I think it's cool.
Yeah, that sounds very fun. You don't really see too many sci-fi comedies, especially
Mm.
in television. In television,
Mhm.
relax. I'm from the future. Check it out. Luke, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me.
Of course. Thank you so much. Thank you, and have a great premiere on Friday.
Thanks a lot. Great
Thank you.
meeting you.
Great meeting you as well.